Hello! So we're out here on BLM land in New Mexico, and today we wanted to take you through our process for how we pick those spots and what we do when the spot we pick doesn't work out quite like we hoped.
Yeah, we'll kind of cover some red flags, the process of how we choose sites, and how we make sure we have a backup, basically a backup plan, or able to find a backup plan. Most of what we advise people whenever they ask, how do you do this, how do you do that, we didn't follow those, and we ended up in a pickle.
Right. But we do have some good tips for you so that you can be not like us.
Yeah.
Don't be like us.
That's right. So here we go. The first problem we ran into was the Google Maps, the coordinates led us to the wrong entrance. So it probably was a pretty recent change that they blocked that off. But, you know, pulling a trailer is kind of a crappy thing to find right there on the side of the road. So we backed out, went on down the road, and there's a much more appropriate entrance down here.
I think this was the only appropriate thing about this road.
Likely. So, yeah, thus begins our journey. And as you can see, there are several telltale signs of we shouldn't be there right off the bat.
Yeah, the road was not ideal for vehicles like ours, and certainly not for pulling a trailer.
And the farther we went, the worse it got. Several places like this where we're just washed out, and
this second dip right here is where I thought we should not be here.
It's washed out quite a bit, and normally I think I could have made it, but the problem is right here, the wash comes about halfway across the road, and there's no way we could have pulled the trailer up here. And I thought, well, I can back up and back into where the truck is parked now. Well, as you can see, it's more of a J backup instead of a L or a straight in. So we tried this for probably 15 minutes, maybe 20. And decided, well, that ain't gonna work. So what are we gonna do? Shelley said, well, we can back up down the road. And I said, no, I would rather not. I would like for that to be a last ditch thing. And then we came over here and made a mess of things. So I had to back the trailer up.
Oh. You can see it pretty good.
Oh yeah. Down there to that wash. The goal was to get the back end. So my tires stopped right there at that bush, that mesquite bush. And the goal was to get the back end as close as that wash as I could, so I could get the front of the truck. Well, as far away from this ditch as possible, and you can kind of see I was pretty close. Yep, those are my tracks.
Oh dear.
Yeah, I think if Shelley had known this, and in the moment, she would have been a little bit more more worried about things.
I was busy calculating how much the tow bill was going to cost us is what I was doing.
But, you know, Jody thinks four-wheel drives mean you can go anywhere pulling anything. But we'll go back this way by the truck, and that short but steep incline there is the only way around the that road over there. And we weren't going to do it with the trailer. We wanted to try to avoid as much damage as possible, and we did get a few scratches on the rig, all but two. I think we're just in the dust. Let's turn this way a little bit.
Yeah.
There are two of them that are kind of in the clear coat, but it'll buff out.
Thankfully, we've at least made the first payment, so, you know, it's not brand new anymore.
Well, everything has to have its first scuff.
Yeah.
And Box Canyon Road gave it to us.
Yeah. We've camped on other Box Canyon roads, by the way, so I think we both had hopes that this one would pan out, and we'd only have to deal with some washboards and a little bit of, you know, dips here and there, and we'd be fine. But that up there is a lot more than a little dip.
Yeah, that would have created a big dip in our year.
Yeah.
So
yeah. So thankfully we chose to get out of here, although that was quite entertaining, and I wish I had recorded it. I did take a photo that we'll share here, but yeah, so, you know.
You'll see in the photo it doesn't really do it justice because you can't see from one end to the other and actually where we were stuck at. Now you know where we were stuck at. We were, this is the road, and we were across the road completely sideways.
Yeah.
So, all right.
Yeah.
We'll head back to the camp where we actually stayed at and join you back there. So here we are at the place we ended up.
And it turned out to be a pretty good place.
Yep. It's basically just a parking lot.
Well, it's a trailhead, and it's an OHV parking lot, I think.
Yeah. OHV, off-highway vehicle, I think is what that is.
Yeah.
But it's Prehistoric Tracks National something monument.
National Monument.
Somewhere around here there's supposed to be some dinosaur tracks. We didn't find them.
No. And I hiked all the way up there. Right over there.
Over there.
Over there.
So this is just outside Las Cruces, New Mexico. Still, certainly not by the airport where we were before.
Where we shouldn't have been.
Yes, I mean, this is basically it. Just a parking lot. The trees weren't there until today. They're going to have a Christmas tree burning party.
And they're expecting, I think I heard him say, 80 to 300 people.
Bit of a variance, but yeah.
Yeah. I think this, for one of our first actual boondocking adventures for this year, this place was a little bit surprising. It's very, very dark here. The other campers haven't had a lot of lights. They haven't run their generators. It's been really pretty cool, actually. What is he doing?
Trying to get the sun out of your eyes.
Well, I wasn't looking at it, but thank you. I appreciate that. Anyway, so I think from the perspective of the number of people camping in this area, which I think is around, has been around a dozen. Today it's down to about 7, but yeah, and I guess it's getting ready to build up again when all the Christmas tree burning people show up. So I wonder if this is a little bit like Burning Man, but with Christmas trees.
I don't know. The guy said when it starts out kind of a family thing and then it ends up as just a party.
Yeah, so apparently they don't do that until tomorrow night, and we're leaving tomorrow morning, so. So let's talk about how we find these places to camp in, and I'll turn that over to the expert in finding them, which he really is very good at. So he can share some of his tips and tricks.
I like free. I'm cheap. But so when you're looking for free campsites, the first place I look at is freecampsites.net. You put where you're leaving from, where you're going to, and it shows all of the locations along the way that are reportedly free. But then you have to do your due diligence and
read the reviews. Always read the reviews.
Yeah, and that was the thing about the Box Canyon Road. The reviews were good. And it seems last year you could get down the road, but this year obviously you can't. So anyway, you do your due diligence. And that's where we found this place. I got online, and of course it'll tell you Walmart and truck stops and rest areas and stuff like that. And as a rule, we like to try to avoid truck stops at all costs. Those truckers need a place to stay. They are required to stop, and we don't want to take a space. Our second least sought after place to go is a rest area for the same reason. I mean, the rest areas are more free game. Those are for travelers, but they're pretty packed with trucks too.
They usually are, yes.
And they can get fined if they don't stop. If they don't stop and they get into a wreck, it's their fault regardless. So we just try to be respectful of that, or thoughtful of that, I guess. Some rest areas have designated truck and RV places. So we sometimes we'll stay there. The other places you can go, the Dirt, DYRT.com. Campendium, I think that's a paid for thing now, but you can still get some free stuff from it. There are websites, or there are Facebook groups that are dedicated to boondocking. Boondocking is dry camping, basically what we're doing here. There's no hookups. This is more dry camping than boondocking. Boondocking is out in the boondocks. Dry camping you can do basically anywhere. It just means you're not plugged in, you don't have city water, you don't have electricity. But we're set up for what we're doing, and we'll go more into that in a later video about how we kind of started with nothing, and we found out what we needed, and we have what we need now.
Yeah, those nothing days, they were they were a lot back then, and it's amazing how far we've come with not only what we have, but what we've learned how to manage our resources, so that we can stay out longer periods of time in nature, in more beautiful places than just RV campgrounds, which have their bonuses, but we prefer out in nature.
So in light of our recent journey, what would you say are key indicators as to when we should not go further, or when you should just say, okay, I shouldn't be here? In your mind, what are some key indicators?
Well, usually my first key indicator is a lot of dips in the road, like washed out areas. Washboard road doesn't really bother me that much, but whenever I'm going to call it a dip, is about 6 inches to a foot deep, which that's what it feels like, then I start thinking maybe we shouldn't go here. It's fine for people in truck campers and vans and smaller, even the pull behind kind of trailers, but when you're dragging a 40-foot fifth wheel, those are not ideal spots, because you are going to drag your jacks, and I don't really want to tear them up. So that's usually my first indicator, is the road starts to have more and more of those places. So,
well, not only that, if you do get in a precarious situation like we were this time, it's not just tearing up your own stuff, it's tearing up nature. And one of the things about boondocking and doing what we do, we try to abide by the leave no trace, or at least leave minimal trace. And we weren't able to get out of that place without getting off the road, and that's not something we should do. That's not something anybody should do.
Right.
That being an OHV area out there, and people riding bikes or quads and whatever. I mean, there's tracks everywhere anyway. But if I were in a situation, sometimes you can get fined for that too. There are signs posted, no off-road vehicles, or no vehicles off of the road. and it's dangerous. You could, well, like we showed,
Yeah.
we could have got stuck. We could have drove off the, whatever you want to call that, the Arroyo.
Yeah, and something to consider that we did talk about while we were out there and stuck was that the road was running right next to an airport, and most of the way down that fence line there were posted no trespassing signs
On both sides of the
on
road.
both sides of the road. So we knew we needed to go past them, and by the time we got to the end of that fence row, that's when the road started getting really, really bad, and we were kind of we weren't really sure where to turn around yet, so we thought, well, let's just keep going and see what happens. But you know, one thing we talked about and have considered is, you know, maybe investing in a drone to go check out if it's a long road that we can't really see down and we don't want to walk too far, because I think we were still, like a couple of miles from where the pin was for that camping spot, and we would have never made it. We made it about 1.5 miles, I think, is where we turned around.
Yep. Anything else?
No, I think that's all I got. Go out, have some fun, camp.
See you guys next time.